Bang. Oh, hey everyone, quick shot of the 8 here. I was just showing my family real quick the kind of things that I was seeing at the range the other day. It just blows my mind, you know, how, like, I just wonder who teaches people how to shoot a gun, okay? You know, I'm not here trying to say this is what you should do, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. As everybody knows, these are just my opinions. But it's one thing if you want to shoot all crazy looking and different than everybody else, and you actually hit your target, that's fine. But when you're not actually hitting your target, that's when I'm like, hello, maybe you should pay a little bit of money and get some training, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, you know, I figured I should do a little bit of public service and just let people know, just give you a good video on proper stance, okay? I know I've talked about proper pistol grip, I know I've talked about, you know, what your arms should look like, what your upper body should look like, but I've never actually talked about the total stance, okay? So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about two different stances. We're going to talk about the Weaver stance and the Isosceles stance, okay? They are the two most widely known stances when it comes to pistol shooting. And, you know, I just thought I would give you a demonstration of what that looks like exactly. And, you know, kind of like the do's and don'ts, you know? Like, I see the guys with the gangsta lean, and all you're going to accomplish with that is whatever weapon you're firing is going to control you. It's going to throw you all over the place because it's just ricocheting and you know, you're already kind of off balance, you know, because you're leaning backwards, and then when that recoil goes off, it's just going to push you even farther backwards, and not to mention just being an unsafe situation, it's just going to, you're never going to get on target, okay? So, I'm very lucky to have a very lovely volunteer that would like to sit here and demonstrate these two different stances for us. On up, so if she could just come on. This is my lovely wife, Mrs. Quick Shot. So we're gonna go ahead and do a couple demonstrations. So go ahead and just grab your weapon and just aim at there as casually as you can. Like, try to mimic the people that are normally at the range that you see. Okay. She has a pretty good stance this time, but I think that's just muscle memory, okay? The only thing is she might not be as as forward to the target. She might not be as aggressive, but she has a pretty good stance. And like I said, muscle memory goes a long way when it comes to accurate pistol shooting. So since she's already kind of in the stance, we'll go ahead and first talk about the Isosceles stance, okay? The Isosceles stance pretty much means this. Instead of your foot behind your other foot, your feet are totally parallel with each other, okay? So you notice that her feet, even though she's not wearing socks, she has very pretty toes, tickle, tickle. They're perfectly parallel with each other, and just spread them a little bit farther apart, just a tad. There you go. That would be the Isosceles stance as far as the legs are concerned. A very slight bend in her knees, both knees. That would be what the legs should look like, okay, for the Isosceles stance. The second important thing is you need to bend just a tad bit at the waist, probably about right there. Just a tad bit at the waist, because remember, you're attacking your target. You're not being passive to your target, you're attacking your target. So you're going to lean forward, you're going to make sure, I mean, you know that recoil is coming, but you want to be aggressive. You know, you should be taking an aggressive stance. This person is trying to hurt you, or this paper target is trying to hurt you, because you know that that happens. Just kidding. But anyways, you know, I mean, you're trying to attack that target, okay? That is the ultimate goal. So this would be I would say, a very well, you know, laid out isosceles stance. Notice how the gun is almost in the middle. When you're doing an isosceles stance, it's kind of in the middle, in between your eyes, kind of hold. It's not to the right, to the left. If you're left-handed, it's kind of right in the middle. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and real quick transition over to the Weaver stance. This stance is my personal favorite. This is how I shoot. This is how I was taught to shoot. And it's built into my mind to probably where I'll never be able to switch to the Isosceles, even though most IPSC, IDPA, you know, they shoot with the Isosceles stance. I was trained in the Weaver stance, and even though I try, it just feels so uncomfortable for me. So, the Weaver stance is just simply this. Everything else is almost the same, except she's a left-handed shooter, so her left leg is going to come back a little bit, about 1 foot length behind the other foot. And instead of the gun or the pistol or the revolver, whatever you're shooting, being perfectly in front of your eyesight, in between your eyes, it's going to be off to whatever your dominant hand is. So she's left-handed, so it's going to shift off to her left side, should be resting her cheek almost on her shoulder, looking down the sights, and acquiring her target that way. That's how I was taught. I feel like I have a way more stable platform. The arm that's taking the majority of the recoil is backed up by a more rearward placed foot or leg. If you only have a foot and no leg, then that would be the and or. So anyways, so that's what a weaver stance looks like. Okay, but guys, that's all I wanted to show you. Just, it's so simple. You know, when you're at the range and you see some dingleberry or some first-time gun owner, you know, everybody loves the first-time gun owners, but give them a hand. Don't smack them down or bust their ego or anything like that. Just help them out. Be like, hey, you know, I mean, it looks like you're shooting okay, but maybe you should try standing, you know, a little bit different so you can get a more stable platform, and you can handle the recoil. You can, you know, place better shots. You know, all those kind of things. You know, just do your part. You know, help people out. You know, teach them how to actually shoot. That way, they're not just going out there carrying a pistol for their first time in their life, not having any idea how to hit anything. Okay, we want well-trained people carrying guns on our streets, not, you know, amateurs that have no idea what they're doing. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have to say. You know, like I said, you know, of course we're a very safe house. I know I didn't say it at the beginning of the video. I'll say it at the end just in case anybody's still watching. All weapons, of course, have been safety checked. You know, these are, like I always say, these are my opinions. If you don't like them, that's fine. If you can freaking, you know, compete and win championships with the gangster stance, is what I like to call it, then go ahead. You know, if that works for you, it works for you. But I can guarantee it doesn't work for most people. So hopefully this video helped you out. Like always, shoot safely. Pro God, pro gun, pro life. Quick Shot 88 out.